Hey everyone, I'm Flip, and yep, I'm still here trying to tinker with the armor trims and work it all out so we can customize both the equipment, the model actually displayed on the entities, as well as the icons in the inventory. We're getting there. So obviously we've already fixed the armor model, right? So you can add your own trims, you can customize that. Now we're tackling the icons, and I have learnt a bit. Okay, so starting off, we have our directory, if you will. So each of the different armors has this, so netherite chestplate, and has the trim types. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and they all correspond to the different trims that the game encodes. So quartz, iron, darker, netherite darker, sorry, redstone, copper, gold, etc. And we can add our own, and this was the first little hurdle. You can't go above 1.0. I don't know why. I'm not going to figure out why. You just can't. Right? So if you set this to 1.1, it's not going to work. If you set it to 2, not going to work. 0.95, apparently it works, which is good because it means you can specify your own models, similar to custom model data. I have no idea why they're using both trim type and decimals in this system and not just sticking with the uniformity of custom model types, but oh well, one step down. Okay, so we're tying our new trim to trim type 0.95. And the way that's done is in the data pack side of things, you have a trim material folder, and in here you have your material, which I've just called material, right, to make it easy. Then you have this item model index, and you have to set this value to the corresponding amount, so 0.95, so that we utilize this as the new custom model data number, right, whatever it translates to in terms of that. From there, we can now start specifying our own overlays. And the one thing I can't figure out is how to get it to use our own colors on the trims. So the way it usually works is in the actual models for the trims. So for instance, this one, netherite chestplate amethyst trim, it looks like, actually I don't have it open. It looks like whatever it looks like when I do open it. So if we find netherite chestplate, helmet, no, leggings, C is before there. And we go to amethyst somewhere. There we go. Okay, so it looks like this. Netherite chestplate, and then trims item chestplate trim underscore amethyst. And this allows it to depict the amethyst color scheme. And I have no idea how to set this up. I personally feel as though there is another Atlas file missing from the resource pack side of things that you can change and work out for yourself. I'd have to, I guess, pull apart the actual Java to find it, but at the time being, I'm not going to do that. I've found enough of a workaround, but if you do find it, I would love it, because what is really confusing to me, or what took me the longest to understand, is if we go back to textures, trims, items, so where this corresponds to, we have chestplate trim underscore amethyst, and right now the only files I have here are boots, chestplate trim, helmet trim, leggings trim. None of them actually specify color. So something is happening on the back end of Minecraft that is assembling them using the color palettes corresponding to the different types. And this is the annoying thing, right? Because it would be great if I could figure out how to set up those color palettes. So for instance, if we go to our one that we are editing, should be right here, netherite chestplate material trim, right? So chestplate trim lapis. And right now in game corresponding to that, I don't want to minimize that, we have lapis. We go ahead and we change this to any of the other inbuilt ones in Minecraft. So for instance, if we do emerald, that's spelled correctly, looks like it is, and then reload the texture pack, our new trim, there you go, changes to emerald. Now, I've done everything in my power to set up the color palette. I mean, we're using the same method for determining the color palette when it's equipped to a player using the atlases, so armor trims, and we have down here the palette key. Right, so we've set up material, and that's what corresponds to it being this lighter blue when it's actually equipped. So I would hope, and I know it's not possible, that you could just change this from emerald to, for instance, material, and it would now use that light blue color scheme. The issue is, it doesn't. It breaks. So I have no idea how to set that up, right? How to set up the inbuilt models to correspond to those colors. Similarly, you can't just go chestplate trim either, right? So if we do this, oh, I don't think I saved it, did I? Right, so if we save it and then reload the texture, still broken. Okay, so they have to have a color specified for you to use the inbuilt trims. And you can't make your own trim files too. I've tried just renaming them slightly, having them in there and trying to pull from them. They can't be assembled with the different color schemes for whatever reason. You can modify the 4 that are in the folder. So go back and forth all the time. Textures, trims, items. These 4 you can edit and change. You can keep the white scheme or whatever that gets retextured and recolored, and you can modify it. So it is slightly different. I think we saw before I had a little square in the middle. That's fine. The simple way to get around this and just to come up with your own varieties is you can change this as a whole. So for instance, you might have seen in that folder, I had another texture from my main pack, Ancient Eye. Right, so if we save it this time, we now can operate it as though it's just normal custom model datas. Oh, never mind. I had it working before. You know what it is? I think it's the folder. I think trims in themselves, this items folder needs that attachment, that underscore. I think if we put it in a normal item folder, it should be fine. We'll, you know what, we'll just delete it. I'll just pull it from other sections. Right, so hopefully that should do the trick. I've just put it in the item section. Right, textures, item, Ancient Eye, F3T. Also, thank you very much to whoever pointed that out to me. I need to go back to the comments so I can give you proper credit. Right, F3T has saved my life. So going into the options, I think there was a few of you actually that said it. But yeah, so right now we have the netherite chestplate with the Ancient Eye overlaid on top. So this is the simplest way for you to come up with your own textures. You'll just have to color them yourselves. You can't use the inbuilt system. I have no idea how to function it. Again, I personally think there must be another atlas. That said, I don't have any computer science background or any real understanding how this is assembled. I just learned through trial and error and pulling things apart and replicating, changing little things here and there, which is good enough at the point, right? So textures, item, Ancient Eye, you can stick in whatever PNGs you want to overlay on top of the armor and use that as your custom trims. So what it must mean is in this trims items, it automatically attaches the underscore difference material colors. So that uses the palettes. I just have no idea how to assemble my own palette or I guess enable it to use other items. So I've tried again with a subset. So I had them in that normal items folder with C. I have them now in custom trims. If you try to access anything else in this section, it breaks for whatever reason. So the workaround, okay. Let's go through it. Oh, yes, that's deleted. It's fine. From the beginning, from what we've learnt now. Okay, so we've got our atlas. We set that up last time. We got our language, set that up last time. Model side of things. Items, and we have all the different armors, okay, with underscore gold trim. So these are all the inbuilt ones, which I'm pretty sure I can delete at this point. I don't actually need them. The only ones you need to edit are the actual items. So let me clean up a bit and make sure that that still works. Right, hopefully I haven't deleted anything important. Chainmail, perfect. 4 diamond, gold, iron, netherite, and turtle. Okay, so that should be everything. So these are the model documents you want to edit and then include your own. The only one I've actually done for now is that netherite chestplate. So again, you have to add in a decimal value below 1 and in between any of the other digits, off of which you then can specify your own model. So I've included the custom trims folder right up here, and then you can use that to specify the model. I have made all of these, but I haven't actually linked any of them up. I will keep them as template files in this for anyone who actually downloads it, because again, this is what I will give anyone interested in as a whole. I will include probably not the Ancient Eye, but some sort of overlay for you to utilize. And then all these documents are what you want to edit and tinker with. So obviously namesake-wise, you just change it from netherite chestplate material to whatever you want to call it. And then you can specify in the 2 layers. I don't believe you can do a 3rd layer, but that's fine, right? You know what, we'll try it. We'll just copy this over and put it as layer 3. Again, I don't know the inner workings of texture packs, of data packs, or anything like that. Ham, fairly new. So I will just tinker and play and see what we can actually accomplish. So I don't think another layer works, right? It won't go over the top. Oh, it does. Perfect. Okay, so you can specify as many layers as you want. That's actually really good, because if you use, obviously, opacity in it, stuff like that, you can create some sense of 3D-ness within a 2D image. Right? That makes sense. I guess you could accomplish that with 1 layer of opaqueness. Either way, customizable. That's what we really just want. So you can specify all the different models, and this circumvents custom model data. But not just that, this actually means that the smithing table is a way to add custom model data to items in-game. Because again, through the tag system, you can specify what items are trimmable. And then you can also, fingers crossed, hopefully still use the flag from 1.19.4 that has the untrimmable variety. So you used to be able to have in the materials segment of the data pack side of the folder, specify items that couldn't be trimmed. And that way you could use the smithing table as a way to apply custom model data to other items, therefore using it as a blanket way to add in new crafting. But that's a creative endeavor for later. For now, this is all I want to figure out. I've specified the ingredients as barrier, since barriers are unobtainable to the majority of players, so you can't just go to a smithing table and create these different trims. Because again, I want to either use these to reskin entities to create custom mobs. I think that's the simpler way for me, personally, than diving down the block bench, right? Which I tried to open and I have no understanding of 3D art or how to utilize that. So I'm just going to do things manually from scratch. That's the style that suits me. And, well, just create other arm sets, right? So this is, to me, again, an easier way than using what I've seen with leather and dye and specifying models through that. So altogether, hopefully this is useful. Hopefully it's helpful. And again, I will put the files in their easiest to understand state, hopefully, on Plant Minecraft for anyone who does want to tinker with the trims. But all in all, problem solved, right? We've customized the icon and we've customized the equipment. So we're good to start editing and making our own armor sets. A lot of files to write out though. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Hope it was useful to some degree. See ya.